Welcome to Milk and Mummies podcast. This podcast was created simply because I found myself happily pregnant and self-employed and wondering, how was I gonna juggle it all? Get comfy as we talk all things motherhood, working for yourself, and finding that elusive balance, honestly. Okay, hi.
We made it.
We made it. Guys, if only you knew the mating that needed to happen for the made it to occur. It was a lot.
But we did it.
Yeah, we did. Hi, Annabelle.
Hi, Rachel.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
This
How
is
are
really
you?
weird. I'm good. I have to be your professional and be like, oh my God, so tell me about yourself.
I'm like, no.
So, Annabelle, can I call you Annabelle or Belle or Black Cactus? What
You
we
can
doing
call
today?
me Annabelle because they don't know me like that.
Okay. How's your day been so far?
It's been fantastic. Meetings, building an empire. Boring.
Fabulous. Boring,
Um,
did you say?
Yeah, but no, it's been great. I've got a series of things that I have to do every morning so I feel like a decent human being, and I've done 75% of those things. So
That is fantastic. And it's
Yeah.
not even like lunchtime. So that's pretty effing impressive, I've got to say. Welcome to Milk and Mummies. Let me be official and professional.
Hi, Milk and Mummies.
Welcome, welcome. So the reason why you're here is simply because you got babies and
I
you're
do.
living life and you're crushing it.
Thank
And
you.
I think that there are going to be stories and tips, tricks, hacks, information that you can share with other women, other people who are in our space. And by our space, I mean, I guess, just creative spaces, whether you're a writer, singer, dancer, in front of the camera, behind the camera, etc. I think if you're someone who has to work and juggle in that space, I definitely think that you're someone who has things you can tell us and share with us to help. So
Love to.
Yeah.
I love talking all things mummyhood, parenthood, all of the hoods.
all the hoods,
Yeah.
fabulous. I guess one key thing I try to ask everybody is motherhood pre actually having a child? Is motherhood anywhere near what you thought it was going to be? Based on what I can imagine what our mums would have had to say, or our aunties, or our aunties, but have the kids, have the babies. Is motherhood anything like what you thought it would be?
It just, I mean, what I keep discovering is it's so nuanced, and within each nuance there's another nuance. The nuance is nuance.
Right. I get that.
So I guess as an overarching thing, as in like you kind of posit a human out of your being into the planet and then have to kind of feed them and wipe them and make sure that they're smiling and
Yeah.
wipe their tears. There's so many nuance. There's so much nuance to it that affects you and helps you grow and crushes you into a tiny little cube. So it's more than what I had, what had been explained to me, and there's a lot more depth to it. And yeah, it's just completely nuanced. The nuance is nuanced by the minute.
I get that.
Yeah.
Was it frustrating, or is it frustrating to know that? And I say that, I guess, from a perspective of thinking about my mum or my aunties, basically any of my elders, female elders in my life, who were so adamant about you having a child, have the kid when you're having kids. Oh, it's fine. It's not that bad. It hurts a little bit. Like with all the stuff and the feedback that they want to give you. Was it frustrating, or did you get to a point of frustration when you were living the actual reality of what it means to be a mum or to have a kid versus what they had to say or share?
Right. So the short version, the long short version of that is, I knew that I wanted to be a mum, and I knew even before anyone had told me, you know, the basic things like sleep when the baby sleeps. It's going to change you. Your life won't become your own. I knew that I wanted to be a mum and that I did not want to change.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew that I wanted to grow into me. I knew that, like, I wanted to make sure that this person that I was going to birth was good, knew who they were, knew where they come from, and the rest is, I'm a steward. I'd already decided that. But then there were logistical things about birth, like the fact that you birthed the placenta. Why did no one tell me that?
Yep.
The fact that your contractions actually are a corkscrew. And, you know, you just get told about the birth, like that having a baby lying down on your back is not the only way, and not necessarily the best way to give birth. Like you would never try and pass a stool or have a poo on your back.
Yeah.
I gave birth on all fours for both of them in
Got
a
you.
birthing suite. Had no idea about that. I had a doula.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was available, which is basically a non-medical nurse who's there for your well-being as a mother. So I put things in place to make sure I was okay, because I realized, oh, I'm actually the conduit to you know, this being coming into being. So I need to be all right. So and then like writing a birth plan. So there was all of that.
Yeah.
You know, aftercare.
Yeah.
How long does it take for your stomach to go down? Is it sensible to do anything related to fitness just after you have a baby? Like, I didn't even know it was okay to dance whilst pregnant.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then motherhood is kind of like, just when you think you've got it, it changes up on you.
Of course.
Like,
It's gonna be easy.
and every child, I have 2 boys. Every child is really, really, really different. My first child was textbook, like slept through the night, ate on demand, potty training was smooth. My second one was just like, I don't know who you think you're raising, yeah?
Right, got it.
But I'm doing what I'm doing, right? So it's about being present to the fact that everything that you're doing as a mother is for the first time. It's the first time I've had a child that is a day and 3 hours old, a day and 4 hours old. You have to see it as new.
Yeah.
Because holding on to what you think it's supposed to be sometimes just sets you up for disappointment. And practicing kindness.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm doing a good job to myself.
Okay.
Really helped.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and sleep deprivation is a real mythical / not mythical land.
It's true. By the way, just to let you know, you can swear on this podcast.
Oh, amazing.
Just so you know.
I'm not really a swearer myself.
Okay, I just wanted to
place words.
I
like
wanted to give you
fudge.
the freedom to do that if
Got
you
it.
needed to.
The most you're going to get out of me is shit.
Okay, fair enough.
So-
We'll take it. Okay, cool. And I guess to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, who are you and what is it that you do?
Who am I? I am my mother's daughter. I am my father's. No. My name is Annabel. I am an artist. I'm a singer, songwriter, performer by the name of Black Cactus. I am one half of a company called The Spoon Estate. And I am an intimacy alchemist. I help couples transform their relationships from a normal relationship to a sacred union of what we call 1% love. I did that with my husband of 20 years. I'm a mother, I'm a best friend, I am an unfolding being in every single moment of the day. I'm a curious big child.
Love it.
And I love my life.
Perfection. That's
Yeah.
what we want to hear, dude. How has having kids, you know, it's like, how has having kids done everything? How has it impacted you creatively? Can you tell a difference, or is there a difference to you creatively before children and then after?
I mean, there are some actual physiological changes, like getting pita bread titties.
Whoop.
Yeah.
You want to talk me through that? Are you sure that's what you have?
Yeah, I breastfed both of them until they were near enough to. Shout out to the breastfeeding mums.
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
And just shout out
me
to the
included.
feeding mums, whether it's through a bottle or your nipples.
Yeah.
Go you.
Yeah.
And it's great because it helps your what's it called? Your uterus contract in.
Contract back,
which is
it's true.
And my periods took a very long time to come back.
Great.
That, you know, there was hormonal changes I wasn't aware of. I had postnatal, I had no
Okay.
idea because
Yeah.
no one told me. I just thought I was sad and I thought I don't want to go outside.
Yeah.
And then so there's the titties, there's the stomach, like all the mums that stomachs go back to normal, because looking at me you'd never know.
No, I would never.
But my
have
stomach
guessed.
still ain't back. My eldest is 10.
Really?
It's not like my innie is just turned into a little cute nose.
Really?
And it's okay.
But is that, and also I also know how we can be sometimes about our bodies.
Yeah.
Is this this sounds ridiculous. I was about to say, is this like a 100% fact? Obviously, you know your body. But you know how sometimes you are a certain way and you think it needs to be X, Y, and Z, but actually you're actually smashing it and killing it as you are right now.
Yeah.
Are you definitely not? You're not how you were before.
No, my body's different.
Yeah.
From the outside, it looks the same. I mean, like, I've gone from a 32D to a modest 32A, and I love my itty bitties. I've just had to learn to love the new version of me. Like, that pressure of like wanting to go back to how and the funny thing is I didn't appreciate my body before.
Mate, you was preaching to the choir because
you just don't,
do
you?
at all. And it's so crazy to me how that was even a thing, because I thought I was somebody who appreciated her body as it was.
Yeah.
I knew that I was always striving for more, because I'm also that person who always wants more. Great. But it's like, but I liked myself and I loved my body. I was pushing for more, but I'm all good. But when I look back and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I had zero appreciation for myself, like at all.
Yeah,
Mental.
I definitely like now being a mum and appreciating and loving this version of my body. When I'm outside, I said this to a friend the other day. When I'm outside, I am outside.
Yeah.
Like I wore a 2-piece bikini for the first time, I think. During lockdown, I started wearing them in the house and posting myself.
Yes,
online.
I remember that. You were dancing in the kitchen, having a good time.
Because like, it's just like learning to appreciate my body. My voice changed. My voice got a little bit deeper. Like, I lost the top. I'm a vocalist, obviously, and it's great for voiceover, but for singing, I couldn't reach the high notes like I could before.
Okay.
And do you know what? Being a mother means I have to show up wherever I am. If I am outside, wherever I am, I'm really, really there. Whereas before, it's like that constant, like, rushing. If I've decided to be somewhere, I have to be there and I have to be present. Otherwise, I'm not coming.
Okay.
So my approach to work, my approach to my friendship circle, my approach to, you know, my intimacy with myself, with my lover, like those things are so much more intentional because I'm present, because I'm aware that the next time I have a baby, I'm going to change again. Because when I had my first child, I just got into kind of working in the music industry.
Yeah.
And, you know, there were less kind of demands on me. And then my body I just got it back to normal. And then just before I got offered a world tour, I found out I was pregnant again.
Hello.
And I refused the job and they were like, no, we want you. And I was like, cool. So I went and did that. And I try not to subscribe to things that people say like, oh, second baby's harder in the body. I'm very, very conscious of what I say.
Yes.
Because I'm raising children that I don't want them to have like all these prophecies spoken over them.
Yeah, because
like,
sometimes it acts as limitations already before they've even made a choice. Or
I'm
made
just like growth mindset all damn day, every single day. I don't care if it comes across as toxic positivity. I'm like, because when I talk about things that are negative and I allow myself to be negative if I'm feeling that way, it's like there's a chance it could happen.
Yeah.
So why would I now not put that energy in the opposite direction of like, oh, it's going to happen?
Yeah.
So it's that I try to speak into my children of like, we always tell them, talk about what you want, talk about what you want, talk about what you want. Yes. So I do that for myself because, and you know, I discovered this thing called parachute parenting.
Okay.
Which is,
that? I don't know if I've heard
if you're
that.
on a plane and it's going down.
Yeah.
If you're with a child, you put the gas mask on yourself first. Because obviously, if you are unconscious, you cannot help anybody,
That's
including
correct.
your child. I kind of took that a little bit too far.
Okay.
But I just try to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
I really try to make sure I'm okay first, because there is a mental stamina you need in order, as your child gets bigger and bigger and bigger, in order to keep up with that.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, and having a circle of mums. I went to loads of mums groups just to talk to creative mums, entrepreneurial mums, stay at home mums, like just different mums, like, because the playing field's very level when you're all mums, especially in the hospital. There's kind of like not much of a hierarchical thing. It's like we're all producing life here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. I've gone round and round in a circle.
But you know what? The circle made sense, which I appreciate.
It's a circle of life.
There we go. And also, it's funny. Like, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you're talking about this, and I'm so glad that people are going to be able to listen to this, because even in that so-called circle you just described, I've learnt a whole bunch of stuff. I've just completed year 1. I love it like a game. I've completed year 1. Woo!
Boop, 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 boop.
And my daughter is phenomenal and hilarious, and I love spending every single second with her, etc. But in what you've just shared, I feel like I've learned loads already. Okay, cool. I'm gearing up for level 2 now, so I can pick what was useful and what is needed from what you said, and I
Yeah.
can apply it to like already. So just in this moment, I was thinking, I'm so glad that you're here sharing, and I'm so glad that we're doing this.
And the other thing that I
Mad.
really want to drive home is there is an instinct. There's a mother's instinct. That stuff is, sorry, that shit is so real. When I had my first son,
Yeah.
we had this Scandinavian practitioner at our, what they called, antenatal classes.
Yeah.
And she was just like, what do you need? She asked all the women, what do you need to give birth? And loads of
Okay.
people put their hands up. And she said, you need exactly what animals need. Somewhere safe,
Yep.
dry.
Mm-hmm.
And she did say dark, which I thought was really interesting. And I did end up having my second son semi in the dark
Okay, nice.
because I was in the birthing suite,
Yeah.
which I'm really fortunate to have had, because I had suffered child loss before each of them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so
I
it was
believe
there was a
that.
nervousness around that. But she really drove home that we have been doing this. Like, and I come from a long line of women who just give birth, pop them out, bang, 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 like that.
It's easy, guys. Look at me. Bam.
Literally, but it isn't. Like,
Yeah.
the myths are like, not every single time you try to get pregnant do you get pregnant.
Yes, that's correct.
Not every single time do you have a baby you carry to full term.
Yes,
And
that's
sometimes
also
you do.
correct.
It's about being sensitive and celebrating all of the landmarks.
Yeah.
Now, like, the
Yeah.
privilege that I've had from suffering from child loss is that when I look at my children, I'm like, oh my God, you're here.
Yeah.
And just sending lots of peace and love and to mums who have suffered child loss, and just continue to pour into yourselves. That's what I'd say. Like, my second pregnancy, which ended up being my fourth, you know, which I, you know, my second to full term, but fourth pregnancy, it's like I spent the whole time on tour thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get off the plane and baby's not going to be here. But it's just like there was something, again, that's when I developed that thing of like being present.
Yeah.
Like, and like, oh my gosh, this is such a gift. This is like
Yeah.
to celebrate it. And I was older than a lot of my friends when I had a baby. And that's another thing. I'm just like, have the baby when you're going to have the baby. Just make sure you look after yourself.
Yeah. I think that's such a key thing.
I don't like that thing
yeah.
that they say to women, you know, once you get over 30. It's
Exactly.
Like,
It's now a geriatric
geriatric
pregnancy and all the rest of it. I was grateful
your
that
mama's geriatric.
I was grateful that I didn't hear that term at all
Oh,
throughout
good.
my pregnancy, but I was through other friends who were older and they had their kid. They were like, just to warn you, Rach, you're gonna hear this, and I know it's gonna like
Yeah.
piss you off the most, and you're gonna have something to say about it. So I was grateful that I didn't hear that at all. But just touching a little bit on what you said, it's true. Like, when people say having a child is a miracle, I think getting into this space of having kids or wanting to have kids,
Yeah.
I just assumed that do you know what? I don't think I had an assumption. I don't think I ever really understood what they meant by it's a miracle.
Right.
I was more like, oh, I guess because you've had a baby, okay, yeah, the whole process is okay, it's a miracle. But understanding the steps that it takes to have a kid,
Listen.
like the whole process for them to actually come out happy, healthy, and safe to hear, it is
yeah.
a phenomenal process, and it's incredible that we can do it. But it really is a miracle, because things can
Now
happen for
listen.
whatever reason, and
It's so interesting
they
as
made
well
it be
because,
it.
like, for me, so my mum was quite a hypersexual, and I know you have a hypersexual African mum as
I
well.
do with no barriers
No
or
chill,
restrictions,
not one bit of
no
chill.
chill.
So
just,
I ended up. It's so interesting because I'm like the crudest prude you're going to meet,
got it. Okay.
and I didn't know. I still, after I had my first child, whole husband. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about sex. I'm a virgin. I haven't got time. But outside in these streets, respectfully. But
your
it's like
life.
you spend your like mid-teens, like, if I hold hands with a boy, that's it. I'm gonna get Mary and Josephed up, and then you get older, and you try and have a baby, and it's like, sorry,
how
hello,
does this
ovaries,
work?
what is
Yo.
happening? Why? What's going on? Where's my maternity wear? Hello.
The onus on don't get pregnant, don't do it,
Yeah.
is so
Don't do
much.
it. It's not worth it, girl. Don't do it.
There you go. I love it. And then
I did it.
you find yourself in the process of like, okay, so how does this work? Because wait, there's maths I need to do.
There's
I need to know what day I'm ovulating on, and then this, and then the window's
Long.
this long, and then I'm like, I'm
Long.
sorry, I've got 2 seconds in the hopes that the sperm it catches the egg, and then it sticks,
Yeah.
and then it makes it for 9 months, and then I get it out. I'm like, wait, what? So I think the level of information that's out there on like, don't get knocked up. I think we should definitely be like comfortable in having the information of like, if you're gonna do it, this is how it happens or what you need to be aware of and stuff, rather than you having to essentially cram when you're in that moment or in that process of having a kid or trying to have a kid.
I think that like the first thing, which is elementary, is just make sure you want to have a baby. If you can, make sure you're like, oh, if I get pregnant, this is gonna be cool. I'm up for the ride. And
I'm just gonna check something. Keep talking.
No, that's all good. And then like I discovered like the absolute need to create a tribe. That first and second year of becoming a mother, having a tribe was really, really helpful, really important. Like I had a friend that came over. She held the baby, did the dishes. I knocked TF out, and I was like, "Yep, this is me." So with my first child, I learned to build a tribe. My second child, I learned boundaries.
Oh,
because it's like, I don't want everyone holding my baby. I cannot leave my baby with everyone. I don't care if we are family. I don't care if we're long-term friends. I don't care if I've just met you. That mother's instinct never leaves you. And you have to know that whilst you're out doing your thing in the world, whatever that is, that you feel like if anything goes on, your child is being left with somebody who loves them, who likes you, and is committed to being a positive impact on your child's life, whether energetically, financially, like spiritually, whatever it is. That's so important. And I think, you know, with what I do, working in the arts and what we do with the arts, the jobs just come. It's like you're minding your business and it's just like, oh, Dr. Dre and Beyonce want you to come and voice over for the Super Bowl. Yeah. Right. Okay.
How am I going to make this work?
And I'm just like, I'm very much minded. I try to make space for magic all the time. But part of that magic is I have a circle of people that are willing to support me whilst I build my life and my dream. Yeah. So it's that, and it's making sure that I'm okay, because I've definitely said no to help because the energy wasn't right.
Do you know what? How do you strengthen that voice? Because
Practice.
Right, we go. I was gonna say again, just completed year 1, and although thank you, babe. Although I am speaking my mind and saying my truth, I'm also very aware of the fact that I can say something, and it could be to maybe someone who's older than me. They've had kids, and their kids are you know, they're grown, they've left the coop, whatever else. Or it could be someone who's got more kids than me, and maybe in my sort of bracket, my age range, I would say, or
your
my
meets.
Yeah, right, or my peer in some way, shape, or form, and I would say something, and they'd be like, "Oh, but Rach, listen, when you have kids, da 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 da," or like just that dismissal that can come in because they've had more than me, or they've done it for longer than me. It's like, no, because sorry, for me right now, and I don't know if it's just because I'm still fresh at the whole motherhood gate, but I'm a bit like, my instinct is to be like, listen, don't fucking dismiss me because da da da. I'm automatically at 100.
She said, play with your mama.
Listen, and I'm like,
play with me.
Rach, I think we need to find a way to temper that, because not everyone's gonna need an F-bomb in their face. But at the same time, I'm like, but this is also how I feel and how it came out. But then it's just understanding how to strengthen my resolve at the dismissal that I get instantly, and just sort of rebutting that rather than going straight into, I'm going to bring arms to your mum's house because I'm ready.
Got it. Shout out to UK Garage.
Yes, sir.
I think that one is important when you are at the doorway of a potential childcare situation.
Sorry, first of all, I love how you framed that. It's fantastic. Go on.
I think it's important that whatever comes up for you, you really look at it and almost take yourself out of it and look at the energy. Like, what is the thing? What is the thing that's making you feel hot right now? What's the thing that's making you go, Really look at that, and then if you can, discuss it with your, you know, with your co-creator, husband, boo thing, friend, whatever. And then I think it's important to listen to people that have had children, because they do know things that we don't know because they've maybe done it longer. True. Or they have more children.
For sure.
But never let go of your mother's instinct. It's literally tailored specifically to you and your child and your situation. Yeah. And I think you give yourself the grace of being wrong if you know, if you've got an advance from someone, or you've got advice from somebody and you don't want to take it right now, and it's no. like be in that growth mindset of like, okay, it was a no then, but it's not going to be a no later. Be open to that. Like, it's a seasonal thing that it doesn't work now.
Yeah.
Or I'm not in a space to receive what someone's saying right now, and just do you. But like, I think it's about being graceful with yourself, being open, listening, chew the bones but spit out the meat. No, chew the meat but spit out the bones.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's advice from people, which is great advice, but it's the package is the package is just like, you though, for real, you. Okay, go off. And it's about like being graceful enough to know, like, you know what, yeah, it might not be 100, but it's 99, whatever. Be open, like allow yourself to have the seasons of receiving. And if you're really not going to receive, just also be okay with that. Don't make yourself wrong about it.
Yeah.
But know that sometimes like life will teach you, and life will definitely humble you sometimes. Sometimes you're giving advice and you're just like, no, at the end of the day, I'm going to do it myself and da-da-da. Then lo and behold,
Ba-bam.
that thing comes to pass, and you're like, you know what? If you give yourself, it's like, okay, well, I was wrong about that. That's okay. It doesn't take anything from you as a mother.
This is true.
It doesn't take anything from you, because you are learning. Like, motherhood's not a new job. Like, it's been going and going, but it's new to you. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you're still today years old with some of the information you're going to find out in real time, whether it's through life humbling you, whether it's through you setting your boundaries, practicing your voice, going missing. Sometimes, like, if you're getting advice, unrequited advice, sometimes it's okay to go missing. It's like, I don't actually want to hear from you right now. So I'm just going to be here, continuing my journey, strengthening my mother bone until I'm ready to receive. And right now I don't want something. So bye.
Okay, I remember that. Grace, humble myself, listen.
And talk it out. Sometimes when you hear yourself out loud, you're like, I wasn't actually doing too much. I think I'm all right. And sometimes it's like, fully doing too much. I'm going to reel it in.
Okay. All right. I'll try and take that under advisement. I will pay attention, because the fire going from 0 to 100 is
a real place.
Yo, but the ferocity of where I get to now, how quickly I get there as well. It's like, okay, this is fun, but I might need these people around me down the line.
You just got to sometimes let them know that the hormone thing is something we'd never discuss.
Yes.
Your hormones are not your own. And I used to hate that. Like, I just used to think it was kind of like gender politics or whatever. So are you being a bit hormonal, babe? No, like, there was a time, I think, around my first time, I was a little moany cow.
Okay.
Like,
moany as in like you're complaining about stuff, like, oh my God.
Everything was getting on my nerves.
Okay, fair.
Everything was just getting on my nerves. Like, my periods hadn't come back. Like, I remember someone told me, if you ever get to the point of frustration, even with motherhood, put the baby down. Just leave the room for a second.
Okay. And
that was really, because no one talks about it, like, being sleep deprived, having your hormones doing the electric slide, like, and then life, and then bills, and then like, postpartum shedding. Like, where's the edges on the left hand side?
My friend,
where are you? Like, there's all of those things are going to affect you. There's a nice little cocktail going on there, and you're expected to just like woman up and make sense of it all.
Basically, and
you can't. You can't,
and
which is where the kindness comes in, and the talking. So important.
That was definitely, I think, the first 3, maybe I pushed, just to kind of not lie to myself too much. I think maybe the first 6 months of being a mum, like all of that, the overwhelmingness, if that's the word, I just made it up. If not, it's whatever. But that was
real.
That was a lot. Sleep deprivation was real. I thought that I would handle that okay, just because of, again, how we work and the hours that we keep. So I'm used to being up or whatever else, but to be that tired, to have had very little sleep, to be in a constant state of action because of your little one and making sure that they're fine and they're not, but you know that they're fine, but I got to double check this, do this, then trying to keep the house clean, then trying to cook, then trying to do all of that kinds of stuff. I wasn't able to comprehend what that would feel like until I was actually really in it. To find myself, my body just shutting down because it can't do anymore.
Listen.
Or I'm asleep, and my neck, the crick in my neck is so painful because the angle that I found myself in, I didn't even know that was possible. I'm literally hunched over, asleep, holding the baby, and like my
Yeah.
partner Max is now having to sort of like wake me up as gently as he can because he knows that I'm literally gonna have to like thaw out as I try to sit up. Like
Yeah.
that was insane.
And it's
yeah.
when you do have a man in the space,
Mm.
it's such an interesting one, because obviously them not having physically carried the baby,
Mm-hmm.
you see that snore that they put down. You're like, oh, is it? Must be nice. Get up. It's mad. It's so mad, and that's a place where I also had to learn grace.
Yeah.
Like they're going through a different type of birthing to us.
Yes.
And really learning that, oh, we're both going through this. This is the first time you're having to watch your lady go through all of this.
Yeah.
And finding the balance is a constant discovery of finding the balance.
Yes.
And then
I
also
agree.
like learning to high five you. You're like yourselves. Like, oh my God, I've had a baby and I don't hate it. And I still like myself and I'm still pursuing my dreams and I'm still pouring into myself. Like, you really have to have that. And then there's also the tap outs. Mine are getting older. I've got one preteen.
Like, oh, you do,
girl.
How is that?
I'm afraid. I'm excited. But my thing is like, as long as he comes to me and he can tell me what's going on inside.
Okay.
Because the hormones.
How-
The hormones.
I
I'm
was gonna
having
say,
to tap out.
What does that look like? Because you're watching
yeah.
him enter into that phase, into
Yeah.
this new space, and we've all been there, blah blah. But you've got to give. Sorry, with how I intend to raise my
Yeah.
kid, 'cause I don't know if my mum had this level of calm or had the time to have this level of calm to watch me enter this space and let me navigate and explore this space. I think there's definitely an element of like, get on with, like, go, get up, get on with stuff.
Yeah.
How are you finding that? Like, how surreal is that?
I'm treading between being present and just reminding myself I'm a steward. These people that I'm raising are going to go off just like I did and have their own lives, their own boundaries. That like they're going to like, and I tell them all the time, it's okay to be better than me and daddy when you get older. I never want them to have that thing of like, oh, I've got to live up to. I'm like, and I know that's obviously setting them up also. If they're ever like, yeah, but you told us to be better than you. But I'm just like, I don't want a glass ceiling in my house, in my life, anywhere for them. So I try to let them talk to me, and I try to control myself when they've come to me and told me that they've done something that they shouldn't have.
Okay, got you.
I also remind myself to tap out and tap in. We were watching Spider-Man the other day,
Like
and Mary Jane was saying to Peter Parker, she used a sports analogy. She said, he was like, oh, am I sure? How do I know that I'm good at this stuff? And she said, well, what you got to do is you got to do what you're doing and then just check the play at half time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like if me and my sons have had a back and forth, instead of holding on to it, I go have a huddle with my boo, and I'm like, was I doing too much? And sometimes I'm like, I think about how the lasting impression I have on them, and also remembering that there is somewhere we're going to miss it. They might have walked into a room one day when I'm doing something. In their mind, I've rolled my eyes. I've definitely rolled my eyes. And that's the story they've run with. Well, I knew you didn't love me at 11 because when I walked in, you rolled your eyes. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
There's stuff that's out of my control. And I've given myself grace and peace about that. But where I am in control, I'm not your friend. You can talk to me. And everything else we're finding out on the day.
Yeah.
That's it.
My gosh. Sorry, you just mentioning the pre-puberty, preteen space is just like time has flown. From when I remember meeting them to now, it's like, wow, okay.
Everyone's like, oh my God, it goes so fast. And I was just like, let me have my baby.
Yeah.
10 and 6, going on 42.
Wow.
My second born is going on 42.
Oh, I love that.
He's got things to say.
I can imagine, I know.
He is the boundary king. Why have you not done this? I didn't want to. Right. So what would my Ghanaian mother do in this situation?
And so what? Come on. Go and do your... Yes, Mum. Sorry, first of all, I didn't want to, it would never have left my lips.
What?
It's just in my head,
I keep
absolutely.
reminding them. I said, this 2023 has saved you. Are you joking? I could never.
You're kidding me.
What do you
Kidding.
mean? What do you mean? Drink my drink before I finish my food?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I try
Yeah.
to give them freedom. I try to let them know.
Yeah.
I try to make them aware of their privileges.
Because it's real, guys. It really, really is real.
Listen.
I know earlier you said you knew that you wanted to be a mother.
Yes.
How did you? Maybe a bit of a difficult one to answer, but how did you know? Like, how did you know that? Yeah, this motherhood was.
I just
something
thought it
you
was
wanted
cool.
to-
Like my mum took me, and so I'm the middle of three, and with my brother and I, because we were raised here, my older sister was raised in Ghana. I still envy her about that, but obviously, like,
Oh, do you?
You always envy what you don't have.
Yeah.
She's just like, okay. But my mum took us everywhere.
Okay.
My mum took us everywhere. She took us to everything. And my mum's thing would always be like, I can't put you in a bin, can I? Like, I very much so got my mum's sense of humour. But she's like, of course, you have to come.
Got
You
it.
know?
Yeah.
And she had a circle of people that did have children.
Okay.
But I remember being sat in grown conversations and
Yep.
being,
Me too.
you know, off to the side playing a little bit. But my mum took me everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes she'd take me to work.
Okay.
So it was like, I was like, oh, that's cool. I get to do it my way. I get to do that my way. Now, that said, sometimes I'd rather they're not around because I need to remember who TF I am.
Yeah.
But I try to take them wherever I can.
Got ya.
Like to rehearsals.
Yeah.
Like when we're having meetings, when we're having disagreements. I try to make sure they're there and they experience life. I don't want them to grow up and you know, discover the watershed like I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, people swear.
Yeah.
And they
I
be
get you.
having fits.
Yeah.
They do. I want them to see as much of the world as it actually is.
Yeah.
I don't like. I mean, of course, what mummy and daddy get up to outside is none of your business.
No, it's not.
But I want them to see that the world is a real place, and you know, letting them know that people do swear.
Yeah.
Because I remember the shock when I heard the first F-bomb. I remember the first time. Oh my god! I was like, so Santa Claus isn't real. Oh my god, the walls are closing in.
No way.
Water. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up. I don't know whether it was just me. I lived in a fantasy world, but I was just like, I didn't know people did bad things.
I don't know. No, it definitely wasn't just you. I think it was. No, do you know what it is? I was about to say, I wonder if it's quite a Ghanaian thing. Sorry, I'm from Ghana and Annabel is too.
Yeah, same tribe.
Hello. I wonder if it's an element of that because there's just, like, I lived in Ghana ages, 6 to 8. And for instance, watching stuff on TV, so Pretty Woman just popped into mind.
Yeah.
I love that film.
Listen.
But all the sex scenes, watching that in Ghana would just get blacked out.
Fully.
Just cut.
Fully.
And then the film picks up.
Fully.
So I feel like obviously we were being taught or raised on a societal level or through our parents as well on how to experience life. But they just took out certain things, and then suddenly you just get dumped into real life, and you're like, oh no, wait, sorry, this happens or that happens. So I think I wouldn't be surprised that there are people who feel exactly how you feel. Like suddenly there's like a bit of an awakening.
There is, and I think with something like motherhood that you can't get away with, you can't just turn it off. Like if I didn't have any children, I was just out here, you know, running my own business in these streets, whatever, just being free and an autonomous being that I am anyway.
Yeah,
like I can very much shut this thing off, or I'm gonna stop this, I'm gonna stop that. Motherhood doesn't have an off button.
it does not.
Like it's always on, so that's where the kindness comes in, and that's where like the openness, but the boundaries come in. You have to handcraft this thing to tailor to you. That's what it is. So, in some ways, even now, I won't have anyone come and poo in my ear. I'm not. You're not gonna come and tell me. That's what, because it is. You're chatting shit in my ear, and it's like I don't need any more. Like I had to navigate mum guilt on my own. It was only until I spoke to other mums I was like, oh, okay, so it's a thing.
Mad.
You know, but it's like my life is very different to everyone else's that I know.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who is running a business in the way that I am, which is literally around intimacy alchemy, which feeds into how I mother anyway, and how I show up as a lover, and then is singing and songwriting and producing from the house, and then is also going out and doing whatever else I'm doing to stretch myself. Like doing the courses, going to dance classes, like doing all the, like in the way that I am. So I have to make it make sense to me. My mother said has to make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yours has to make sense to you.
Yeah.
And it's a constant crafting. But the base is that I love myself, that I'm kind to myself, that I want to raise children who know who they are and who know who we are not, know where they've come from. That's my constant. That's my foundation.
One thing that you said there that kind of really resonated with me, it was just, as you said, no one is, aside from you being on this journey that is personal and attuned to you, even from like the working space, you don't really, unless you go out and look for the spaces, it's true, you don't really have anyone who's working, say, in the way that you are or in the industry that you are, unless you go and find them and then make that, I don't know, that network or that safe space. So it's true, all of this is, as you said, you're figuring out as you go, and it's very personal to your lifestyle, life choices, and everything else in between. So
you just got to keep cultivating. Like I'm so in awe of like mums and dads who are just going out and just making it make sense to them. Like around the time I had my first son and I discovered mums groups, I had no idea they existed. I've made beautiful friendships, relationship, kinships with some mums who have gone on to do some incredible things, like, and haven't allowed being a mum to quote unquote stop them. Like that to me is like, it just blows my mind. Like I remember doing a tour and with an artist and childcare fell through. And I remember strapping my son to myself. He was 7 months.
Wow.
I was at
which
Brixton
first was
Academy.
second one? Yeah.
And I was breastfeeding and I went in the back whilst they were, on a break. But just before the break, we're sound checking, running.
Yeah.
I'm in the back, kept my mic on, breastfeeding in the back, waiting for the childcare to come. My friend, who's another artist, came through and took him for me. And it's like, these are the things that we got to do. Like, I'm so committed to continuing to grow and not have my children be the thing that stop me. They're the reason I keep going. They're the reason why I have to keep adapting and building who I am. Yeah.
Was that, at that time, especially like you've mentioned your son was, say, 7 months at the time, and that's what you were doing. Was it a difficult space to be in terms of your employers at the time? Did people not necessarily have something to say, but were you made to feel a particular way? Just because looking at things now, there's such a space for babies and motherhood. My kid comes to me on auditions, to meetings, to everything. No one would not even so much no one would dare to tell me anything. Everyone's trying to make things as comfortable as easy for me. If it can't work, it can't work. But
the
they
space
do work.
that we're in now for motherhood is so delicious. I mean, you think about Rihanna, who's out with her belly out. I would have never. Culturally, I wouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
Same. Now, you see this next baby that I will have, I'm going to be outside. It's such beautiful. It's so beautiful now because like before, the time that I had children, it felt like you're a liability. They're expecting you to fall off or be emotional because you're a mum and not be able to get the job done. I used to make it a thing to be like, you will get this job done very, very well. Because one, I have to go pick up my child. So like, whilst I'm here, my value needs to be at the forefront. You need to remember me. I didn't feel, there was a societal thing where it was like, okay, she's a mum, she's not going to be able to. But I feel like I crushed those norms. I went on tour with a bunch of the laddiest lads to ever lad, and I was fully pregnant at the time.
The laddiest lads to ever lad.
And I still tried to turn up with them, like after a gig, like, you know what I mean, whilst trying to also hide my stomach.
Got it.
There was that, and what was the thing that I was going to say? It didn't feel that there was space, and I felt like I had to apologise. But what it did make me do was go to some employers and be like, listen, especially when I was pregnant, I'm pregnant, I can get a dep if you need to. And they're like, no, we want you. So that made me feel good. And that's one thing that makes me sad when I look back, because I wish I'd been really ballsy about the fact that I am pregnant, or I'm a mum of one, I'm a mum of two. Yeah. Because I did have a support system. Yeah. Even though it wasn't the one that I thought I was going to have, I did have that worst come to worst, I could ask this person, that person, this person to help me.
Yeah.
And I learned to ask for help at that time. But yeah, I did get crushed by the societal kind of like, oh, you're a mum. And there were a few times where I'm like, well, I'm just going to miss out on this opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think the part of me that I was very fortunate for people to see my passion. Like I had an employer when I used to be an actress, when I had an audition and I was like, I've got an audition, but I'm just going to tell them I can't come. He said, get in the car. He put me in the back of the car and he said, right, get changed, do what you need to do. You're going and drop me off. And, you know, that job opened the doors to so much.
Love it.
But I kept my passion alive. But sometimes I would shrink. I would definitely shrink.
Hey, I'm very grateful for the space that we're in now because this is ridiculous. I definitely would have you'd have to find a way regardless, but it can feel like I don't know how this would have run otherwise, because I've definitely been like, well, I've got a kid, I've got this job, I have to fly here. Okay, I'm taking my baby, that's fine. Then production finds out, then they work around you. Oh, you're breastfeeding. Okay, cool. Let's do this and this.
Listen,
which is
I
wasn't expecting that, and I kind of was thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to put X, Y, and Z in place, but I didn't have to because they were thoughtful enough to kind of deal with that for me. So very, very thankful for being in this space.
I just say to any mum out there who wants to work, take full advantage of the fact that you're allowed to be a mum.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to pursue your dreams, your career, whether you're working from home, whether you're at a stay-at-home mum, whatever it is, do it with your chest, please.
For sure.
Do it with your chest, your whole chest.
I'm also finding, slight deviation, I think, that every new mum or after a kid, there always seems to be a project that a mum starts. Do you remember your projects that you started, or are you still working on them now? Like, did they turn into anything?
Well, my first project was making cupcakes from my breast milk. Listen, I was like, where can this go? This is liquid gold.
I'm going to be that mum who does.
I'm a cow. I wanted to be really flipping good at what I did.
Okay.
I wanted to be really good at the way I used my voice.
Yeah.
I wanted to be really good at being a performer.
Okay.
If this is what I say I'm doing,
yeah,
I don't want to use half my ass. I want to use my whole ass.
Whole ass.
So
Great.
I wanted
That's
to.
so ridiculous. I just got a visual. I'm so sorry. Carry on. Carry on.
Weird, babe.
Weird.
I just wanted to, just going to get back in the room. I just wanted to make sure I was really good, because I felt like, because I'm a mum now, I need, when I step in the room, for them to go, oh my gosh, and you're a mum. That was my mentality at the time.
Got ya.
I wanted to be really good. But before that, there was a point where I was like, I got to tap out first.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm going to get drained by trying to show up and live up to this thing, this pedestal. So there was a time where I discovered, I think it was Orange is the New Black. I just binged that whilst I breastfed, and I journaled and I wrote out my dreams and tried to manage my chemical emotions and my actual emotions throughout the day. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to be really good at whatever I said I was going to do.
Okay.
I just wanted people to be like, wow.
Yeah. And does that apply to both babies, both pregnancies?
100%.
Okay, cool.
100%. And even now, I want them to see me and be like,
and you're a mum, and you're my mum.
When I'm working out in the morning, like, I want them to be like, okay. I want them to learn to be excellent no matter what. And obviously I'm raising two boys that I have not been blessed with a girl yet, which you have, which is amazing. But like, I feel like an extra onus on like them seeing a woman like, oh yeah, you're using you and daddy are using the same weights, and you're working and daddy's working, and never ever being short of giving them hugs. Yeah. And also like my testosterone fueled days where I'm just like, listen, get the thing done now.
Oh, just because you said hug, I remember there was a situation where your youngest was playing and he was walking past you and you're like, oh, can I have a hug? And he was like, not now, or something. Yep. I remember asking you, how does that feel? And people started laughing at me because they're like, Rach, that sounded so emotional. I was like, no, guys, I don't think you understand. I'm in a space right now where I'm everything to my child. Obviously, she's growing up and she's changing, getting bigger. But what am I going to do when she gets to that point where she's like, no, mum, I don't want a hug right now. I don't want a kiss, or leave me alone.
It will come.
Exactly. How does it feel?
You got to remember what you're pouring into them.
Okay.
I remember all the time Because you know what? Someone's got to be the anchor. You are the anchor. Like when they're older, like you have flashbacks of what your mum would have said or what you would have seen your mum doing, right? So you have to be that consistent thing that even if they are pretending, like your hugs are so boring right now.
Obviously they're pretending, obviously.
100%, because who wouldn't want to? Hello?
Obviously.
You've got to remember what you're pouring into them. I think about trees a lot.
Okay.
And the fact that the apple tree, whether the apple is on the tree or not, is still an apple tree.
Okay.
You're still an apple tree for your child. Just because the fruit's no longer on the tree,
I'm still there.
You're still that grounded, rooted thing.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Remember what you're pouring into them. Remember what you stand for, because when they get lost in the source of secondary school or just other children at school who are like, no, we're blue. No, but we're pink. No, we're blue. They can come back to you and you're like, you are pink. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, the things to come. Oh my God. No, I'm trying to be so present, maybe a little bit too present, but so present for every single second and moment that's here, because it, as they do say, this part of it all is zoomed past. Like my pregnancy, I felt like I felt every single day, but I'm also impatient, the guy, which I'm having to learn patience now. But like, I felt every single day like, oh my God, when's she going to be here? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But now that she's here, I'm like, I've blinked and so much time has just flown by and she's doing this and she can do this.
Take pictures. But like, take many pictures.
All the pictures, all the videos. There's no more space on my phone, but we're still going.
Get albums printed.
Yeah, that's I'm doing all the things.
Because did you grow up with like a photo album of just you and one of just your sibling? And I come from that generation.
Yeah, we kind of, and then it started to mix. I felt sorry for, there's 5 of us, or 6 of us completely.
Damn.
But like, right? But like, as you work down, you kind of see how it kind of gets less and less and less. And in terms of how much is being captured of each child. And my dad was really into photography, so I think that kind of really helped. So we've got a bit more, I think, than the norm, quote unquote the norm, but you can still see how it's kind of gotten less and less per child. But yeah, our little ones getting everything.
Take pictures, man. Take pictures,
videos, all the things.
Yeah.
But I know obviously your little ones are a little older than my own.
Yes, and she's so beautiful.
She's growing up. Can you remember, or do you remember what it was like in terms of I guess birth choices, actual giving birth, all that kinds of stuff? I really wanted to I want to see, or try to see, how much mums can remember, because I know there's a lot that kind of just you forget about, or just gets replaced with another memory or another sensation.
No, I remember the births.
Yeah.
Like nothing. So I remember for my first one, I read this book called Supernatural Birth.
Okay.
And that was the first time I'd seen in writing like positive things about pregnancy.
Got you.
Because of course you get told the other one, oh, your bum's gonna split up to the back of your
head.
head.
All the things. I tried to avoid all of that.
Oh my
with
God!
mine.
Listen, pregnant mummies out there, mums don't mean it, but they want to come and tell you all the cons. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay in your head to just be like,
white noise.
It'd be like, oh, I actually don't need to hear this. Pick who you want to hear the things from, both the good and the bad, because there are things that you do need to know. Like, what's it called? What? When you plan your birth, when you plan cesareans.
Plan. Oh,
cesareans are, they are a medical means to a natural end, right?
Right. Why did my hair just fully got stuck on the wall?
Like, obviously, plan to have a natural birth, and if you don't, we have the absolute gift of medical intervention, right? So rest assured. I think knowing that you just want to have a healthy baby and you both want to live to tell the tale, I think is the best thing you can do. Keeping yourself hydrated, watching what you eat, not taking too much salt, too much sugar. And it's also not just what you're eating, it's what you're listening to. I did hypnobirthing for both of them, and it was something that was new to me. But hypnobirthing basically is practicing, envisioning a great birth.
That's correct. I did hypnobirthing too.
Yeah.
What worked for you in hypnobirthing? Did all of it, or with the bits, or I just want to get your take on it.
I focused a lot on the exiting of the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said in the beginning of this, contractions corkscrew the baby out. If you think of a steering wheel, they're just turning them. So there are necessary pains. I learned what a necessary pain was.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're trying to squeeze a melon out of a keyhole, you are going to feel that. But it's a necessary pain. If you pierce your ears, you know that there's going to be a little bit of pain. If you bump your knees, there's going to be a little bit of pain, then it will stop. So I think it's the contractions, knowing that I thought of them as two hands turning a baby round and round and round until they were close to the exit. That it was going to feel like, nobody told me also though, with my first birth, that it felt like you were going to give birth to the mother of all poos just before you're about to give birth.
Okay.
Because I said to my nurse, oh, let me just go to the toilet and I'll come back. She was like, no, babe. Yeah. That's the baby. No, I know my body, lady. I'm going to go and have a number 2 and I'll come back. And I found out that number 2 was the baby.
That was the baby.
So I think it's about making sure you're as relaxed as possible and you don't try and fight your body. I got a contraction app.
Right.
Don't eat too close to your birth. Don't, if you're going to have a water birth, which is what I attempted to with my second.
Oh, okay.
I was in the water for a long time. I had a male midwife, shout out to them, but he was so nervous about touching my naked body.
Oh, was he?
And the way I was handling the pain. Yeah. They didn't really do anything with me. Okay. So I stood up too early, just before, I was in active labor. Yeah. And, I didn't get to have the water birth I needed. So I ended up having the baby on all fours, which was fine. But, it's about, you just got to relax. You've got to, I always say, when the pain goes up, you breathe down into your bumhole. Like, breathing was important. Hypnobirthing, like envisioning like this baby being corkscrewed out, and then, the ring of fire, which is that moment just before you crown or the head. Crowning. Just envisioning not tearing. And I tore a little bit. Yeah. I tore a little bit. And, remembering that, like, you've got an hour to birth the placenta, like being relaxed and breathing and being in tune with your body. I envisioned myself being like water. Okay. I was just like, listen, body, I love you. I know you love me. Let's do this thing together. I'm working with my body. Yeah. And that's not everyone's story. But as a base, just remembering to breathe. Don't panic. Our bodies have been designed
to do this,
to give life. Yeah. They've been designed that way. And I'm just like, let me just tune into the original design.
For me, hypnobirthing, the affirmations work the best for me. Everything happened so quickly that we didn't get a chance to like set up the room. Wow. So I kind of saw myself with like a space where there's lots of lights. It's like dim and dark, music playing, have my affirmations, etc. But my waters popped at 6 a.m. I didn't even know I would hear the sound of it popping. But
oh, wow.
I was asleep and then just went a massive pop and I went, my waters have broken. So then that whole process started, but it was 4 hours from my waters breaking to my baby actually being here. Wow. So there was no time to set up the space or set up the room or whatever else.
Babe,
so
let me just give you a round of applause. Are you joking? 4 hours.
I
get stuck on the district line for that long sometimes.
So it was like, that was hella quick. So affirmations worked for me in terms of like trying to sort of envision this or envision that. That I didn't have time for it, or I couldn't get myself completely meditative into that space. So that didn't work for me at all. It was just affirmations. So I'm always curious to hear how hypnobirthing works for people, especially if your labor has had time to sort of gradually build, if you've had time to kind of work and get yourself into that state. So
I think working towards just like breath work is important.
Yeah, for sure.
Like affirming the baby, like affirming the nurses, like just saying, I'm going to have a safe, healthy birth with amazing nurses who want to be there, and that my partner's going to be there to support me. Like just all of, like, why wouldn't you? It's like if you think about being pregnant and saying my birth's going to be shit, you wouldn't. You just wouldn't, because you know that there's energy. Like, our words carry energy. Exactly. No matter what you believe. Yeah. That's just the thing. It's the reason why we don't go around cursing people all the time, because there is a chance it could happen. So if there is a chance you could have a wonderful birth,
take that chance.
Take it. Take that chance.
Absolutely. Did you record anything? Did you film anything?
I filmed the first one. I filmed the first one. The second one, I feel so bad for second babies. We're just like, all right, we've done this bit. But the second one, because I was in labor for a while, like I said, I feel like my son in true fashion, especially knowing here, was like, this midwife don't know what he's doing. So he was like, I'm not coming out. When that midwife left the shift, 45 minutes, my son was out.
Wow.
So I can't remember the question, but
I'm stuck to the bloody felt again, or whatever this goddamn thing is.
So funny. No, my mum brain. The mum brain thing is real.
That's really real, and it's really upsetting because
it's annoying. It's annoying because I was just like, all right, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
I know, but the thing is, annoyingly, I'm like that guy who could recall everything from whenever.
Not so much.
So to be now just like downgraded or just obliterated to, oh wait, what did I just say? Upsets me so much.
Going into a room,
bro,
when you have walked upstairs.
Why did I come here for?
And you don't know why.
What was I looking for?
Hello?
My partner is also the guy who is like, he's the receipts guy about anything, fun or not.
We don't need that.
We don't need that. Because, but remember when I said, do you know what? No, I don't remember when you said that. Yeah, but I said, so now I'm seeing you get frustrated because you think that I just wasn't paying attention or I forgot. It's like, no, don't forget.
This is what I'm
in
talking
a whole
about.
Space where like my brain is doing what it's doing.
Hormones, they're real. Like for a long time, I was in denial about it. I was just like, no, that's like, that's not a thing, but it is. It's a thing.
Yeah,
it's fully a thing. Like, and if you need to write things down, I have a board on my fridge to help me remember things, and that's what I use. And I'm so grateful for the board on my fridge because I can't remember nothing sometimes.
Yeah, I do love a to-do list. You can't stop me.
Literally.
And like checking things off and all the rest of it is also my secret love language. It's great. I cannot lie. What else can I ask you? What is the most vivid memory of birth or birthing for you?
Oh man,
that's a tricky one. And I will take either birth, or can you recall vivid memories from each one?
From the birth?
Yeah. What is your most like? Do
you know what? Oh no, you.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to buy you more time.
No, I've got it.
Oh yeah.
So, do you want to go first?
No, you go because I need to.
I feel like our mum brains right now, like. I feel like. So, the most vivid was the first time I was pregnant, not long after conception.
Hello, where have I gone there? Anyway,
I swear, and to this day, I could feel the journey happening inside me. I was like, no, I'm fully pregnant. Because it was an intense session, but I was like, I am pregnant. I'm impregnated. I just knew, and I could feel it.
Really?
I could feel it. I was like, I'm pregnant, like 100%.
I have heard you say this before.
I bought the test for giggles because I was like, I'm definitely pregnant. And how do I know? But I knew with the first one.
Okay.
With the second one, I ate a lot during labour, and I was not supposed to. I was not supposed to, but I was so bored. My husband has got videos because I was just sat there. Again, this midwife, of course, bless him.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm just going to check you. Put the mirror inside the water to check my nunu.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I had, bless, his assistant, his sous chef, was just staring at me. She was like, you're a goddess. I was like, thank you very much. But are you going to put your finger in me? Are you going to check me? I need my temperature, something.
Yeah.
Can we check the heart rate? Because I was handling it so well, and I'm grateful. But I remember that ring of fire.
Yeah.
The ring of fire from the second one. I was like, he's coming. He said, my man's gone. Let's go. Yeah. What are you eating? Because I want to know. I remember the eating, and I remember I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I ate bagels. I ate a curry. I ate grapes.
Really?
Oh my! And they never stopped me.
Fair.
So I was like, okay,
I guess I can.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But don't do that. Don't binge eat when you're in active labour.
That's incredible. I can't even fathom that at all because I felt like the second contractions started in the way that it did, it was non-stop. So when people talk about, especially with hypnobirthing, you don't say contractions, you say things like waves or surges. I was like, right? I never had the come down of the wave to then sort of chill out for the 30 seconds or however long before the next contraction. Right. It just felt like I peaked, it started to come down, and then it picked up again. So I can't even imagine eating anything. It just, at most, I was able to just hang on
Anyone
to
who knows me is like, of course she ate like that. Of course she did.
Like,
Yeah.
the gas in there was the best that I could
didn't
handle
have
at that
any.
time. Didn't you? Ooh, come on.
I had it after my first birth
Yeah.
because I wanted to feel, I like to feel everything. So the nurse was like, do you want to try it? So after, because she was like, oh, by the way, you've got an hour to birth your placenta. I said, what? She was like, do you want to try it? And I hated it because it just gave me a headache.
Oh, I see. It made me feel a bit nauseous. I actually don't think it did much for me because
Everyone's different, yeah.
The first thing that they brought, they're like, do you know what? Oh, well, I guess you can use this one. There's not a lot of gas in there, but I think you should be fine.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I was using that. Made me feel a bit nauseous-y, a bit sicky. The quality of my voice changed. I was like, fine.
Hey,
yo, I was like,
my baby?
I think no, that was literally me.
Baby. Yes, that is
That's
still me.
That's that. And then, cool. Then afterwards, I'm like, the intensity of anything that I'm feeling hasn't shifted. So I'm like, even more of it. And I'm like, I don't think it's doing anything. I still hung on to it anyway, but I was like, if this is taking the edge of contractions and stuff, what do they really feel like? Because it can't be any worse or stronger than this. It can't be. So I don't actually think it did anything. A friend of mine was like, if my labor was longer, perhaps I would have had more time to build it up. I suppose.
Yeah, but you just don't know how long your labor's is gonna last.
Precisely.
But yeah, I think that, and then getting sewed up, that was interesting.
Okay.
Because I also, did they numb me for that? I think I was like, I think they can numb the area.
Okay.
Because I didn't do the, is it
perineum
massage?
I did, but I was like, what am I doing?
I don't want anyone fingering my bum right now. So, but for the next baby, I will be massaging my bum hole.
Do it.
Because
do it.
The way the baby sits is so close to your bum hole at all times towards the end. You got to prep the space.
Yeah,
you got to get used to the equipment down there. Ladies, massage your bum holes.
Massage the perineum. It's not that bad.
If you look at a diagram of where the baby sits at 7 months on, please do yourself a favour and massage your bum bums.
I did. I had a little graze. I'm going to take it as that, you know what, because I did the massage, like, that helped. But was I consistent with the massage? I was not. So
no, because he's got the time.
And can you have the reach? Can you even reach?
Can you because what saved me was sitting on one of those gym balls.
Okay,
the end,
I had those.
There's no leaning forward. What leaning forward?
Yeah.
I didn't have Crocs then. I had my Havianas. But what do you mean putting shoes on? In the winter, socks and flip-flops. Are you mad?
Yeah.
And I had to lean to the side. I had to do a little roly-poly to the side because what seat am I sitting on? What seat?
That's so cute.
Yeah, just living in a muumuu, which is a frock.
That's great. For me, it was my wrapper, my cloth from Ghana. That was me. Comfortable. I think my most vivid memory is the best way I describe childbirth is like, I felt like I was on fire. I felt like my whole body was on fire. I'm just telling you the truth. And if you don't believe me, stick your hand in a candle that's on. Stick it in the flame. That's what it feels like. I feel like my whole self was on fire. Babe, that was it. I didn't have the ring of fire, which was great. I felt a little twinge when her shoulders came out. Bam, bam. And I was like, oh. But that was
she
it.
Shimmied out.
Literally, she did.
She was like,
very
mother.
I'm here. But
that's amazing.
But it was just more the full body sensation is what I can recall. And then having to, there was definitely a moment of like, oh my God, what? And then it's like, Rach, we can't run away from this. And then that helped me just ground myself. My feet just went back to being planted on the floor. And we've got to get through this and we've got to work together.
The only way out is through.
Yeah. Because there was a point when I felt like, I've got to stop. How do I get away from this? Yeah. And I remember me physically, I was just starting to physicalize that, like how I was standing, just like I'm leaning in a certain way, like as if I can lean far enough to get out of it. And it's like, no, you can't. And also I remembered, especially with all the hypnobirth and stuff, the second you feel like you want to leave or you can't do this anymore, that's when the baby is actually coming.
Fully, they're like.
Yeah. And then I had a midwife go, oh, you're 7 centimeters dilated. Oh, great.
Oh, what a joy to hear that.
Right? Because when I reached the hospital and I was at 1, I was like, wait, this is 1? And I got to get to 10?
Let me tell you, don't look at a diagram of what 10 centimeters. Just don't do it.
It's mad.
Pelvic floor though, ladies. Pelvic floor.
Oh, your friends.
Get
that is true.
an app. Do it now. If you think that you're not wanting to have a child, but there's a chance, and I'm talking about 2% pelvic floor, because afterwards, that first week after I gave birth, it felt like there was molten lava pouring out of my sweet little kitty. I was like, what? I had to do warm water in a little jug.
Yeah.
Whilst I weed, just to quell the sensation.
Wow.
I was like, was anybody going to tell me that it's going to burn every single time I pee? But it was obviously where I'd torn a little bit.
Yeah.
And just like
body healing.
But pelvic floor, I still do them now for giggles. I'm doing them
Sorry.
right now.
Oh my gosh, I just started doing them because you just mentioned. I was like, oh yeah,
Right?
pelvic floor, go.
And it's quite enjoyable.
Yeah, it is.
As is, and
It
I
is.
saw this before we move on. I saw a documentary on how, you know, the contractions can be quite orgasmic.
Yes.
That's to do with breath work and like where you're breathing into.
Okay.
So next baby, I'm gonna do that.
Try it, because I had a moment like, knowing me, something random's gonna happen. I'm so sure it's gonna be orgasmic. I just know it will be. In the moment, I was like, I can't even begin to fathom how it can remotely enter into that space. So if you manage it, please let me know.
Yeah,
because I'd be very curious.
I feel like I felt a little bit, but I was also like, can the baby come outside?
Just come up. To wrap up, biggest love, takeaway, and biggest struggle. You can pick one of those. What is the biggest love of child rearing, childbirthing? Your biggest takeaway, or maybe your biggest struggle. I almost don't want to end in a bigger struggle because like nobody wants that.
I'll start with the struggle then.
Okay, go on.
Struggles are part of life.
There we go. It's true.
Struggle sandwiches are a choice. Biggest struggle is that constant feeling of, am I doing enough? Is this making a difference? Am I doing it right?
Okay, fair.
And from my lived experience, that's normal. Okay. And I saw something that said that the mums that think about that the most are probably the best mums. So
I agree. Then I'm exceptional. Then
yeah, I think like I'm learning to flex. I'm learning to flex as a mum. Like you've got the mums that take their children out all the time, and the ones that hug them all the time, and the ones that just provide. Yeah, it's like I feel connected to my children. But anyway, the biggest is that constant like, am I doing it right? And you do have the next time to get it right, the next time to do it right, the next time to do it right. So that's the biggest struggle. I haven't had mum guilt for some years. That's great. But it's like, oh, I thought I was getting it, and now, based on this tantrum that's happening, I'm not. So that's the biggest thing. Okay. And I've just come to see that's part of motherhood. Yeah. My biggest takeaway / triumph is I feel like being a mum it's my badge of honor. Love it. Motherhood to me feels sexy. It feels powerful. Woo. It feels like I'm raising society. I'm raising the next guys in society, like the next pioneers, the next entrepreneurs, the next world changers, the next tastemakers, change makers. And I feel a great sense of responsibility that when someone's like praises them for a way that they are, I'm like, I intentionally did that. Yeah. I planted that seed and now I can see the fruit. Oh, I love that. And it feels like a privilege, and it feels like a joy, and it feels like the most beautiful frustration, the most wonderful discovery, I'm constantly being challenged. Yeah. I'm constantly being validated for my being on the planet. That's for me. It's not the be all and end all, but it is a lot of the all of why I get up in the morning. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, these people are going to be people that are separate from me. Like in the same way that I am. Yeah. I am nothing like my mum in a lot of ways. But I'm like, oh, that's just the circle of life. So yeah, it excites me. I'm learning to be excited to see every single breakdown as a breakthrough and as an opportunity, as I teach with my business as being an intimacy alchemist. It's like, oh, I get to like learn on the go. It never stops. Because you finish school, university. I went through the whole schooling system. I did primary school, secondary school, college, university, and, you know, extra things. And that constant thing of like validation and learning. And then after you stop that, it's like, oh, okay, so I'm just working now. Yeah. But now with mother, it's like you go through that schooling system again.
Yeah.
Having a baby, having a toddler, having a, you know, adolescent, having a preteen, and da-da-da-da. So it's like, and I love to learn. I love discovery. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Awesome. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I'm going to say it anyway. I can cut it
You
up.
can
We
say
don't need
anything.
it.
I don't mind.
I'm so excited for your next one.
Oh, got it.
No pressure.
Me too. Whenever that's going to be.
Whenever that's going to be. I'm putting it into either.
Shorts in the dead of winter. What?
You can't stop me.
Maternity shoot.
All the things. I'm putting it out there that it's going to be a little girl. If it's not, it's not. It's cool. But, you know, we're going for girl. What are you?
I'm such a boy mum though.
What are you looking forward? But I feel like your boys are ready for a sister. The way they are with my little one.
From
like,
the moment they could speak, they'd go, my sister.
Right.
So where?
We're all speaking it. What are you excited? What are you most excited about doing for your next pregnancy?
Motherhood is different now. Like you said, like there's more acceptance. Like even from, I love to express myself through clothes. I'm wearing my harness today.
Love it.
I am team free the nipple. I'm just excited about, I just think motherhood is so powerful and sexy to me. Like honestly, I'm so in awe of mothers. So I'm excited about expressing myself in this new cycle of myself where I'm now running a business. Where I'm more confident in my skill sets. Where I know myself a little bit more, where I've been on the planet a little bit longer. I'm excited to be a mother for the first time.
Yeah, I get you. I understand that.
I'm just excited about, just like, how do I mother in this season? That's what I'm excited about, like the newness of it all. And I'm excited, like I said, culturally, we don't really do maternity shoots.
Yeah, that's true. This is definitely
I still don't like to be touched during pregnancies. If you see me pregnant, don't put your hands on me.
Fair enough.
I've had to have conversations with people and I've had somebody cry. But
really?
I just don't, I'm not really.
No, fair enough. I think people.
I don't want it.
No, I get it. I'm trying to think of how I handled that space. People didn't really touch me either, but people also know that I'm really funny. I can be really funny with touch, like generally. So
unless we are engaged in something I've given consent to, I don't really want that. I've just learnt to accept hugs in the last decade.
Okay, fair.
So I'm just excited about learning my boundaries, being powerful, just being like with my chest, I am a mama of three. And also for my friends, that call of like, I'm a mama of three. Help me. Come and get them. So both of those things.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, cool. Yeah.
And even mum of one, that call will at some point come and get them.
I remember that. I haven't reached that stage of come and get them. I'm more like, I don't want to let her go.
Oh.
So it's in that space.
Oh, nursery's going to be mad for you.
Yeah, no. What, do you know what?
The best way.
It is. But again, it's so exciting when I see her do certain stuff. So it's kind of like, I think I swing from an extreme to the next about, oh my gosh, stay with me forever. It's like, go forth and prosper, go.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting.
Not looking forward to potty training.
Everyone is letting me know that that's the whole level of like.
I hope it's different with a girl.
Just apparently it's just hard and it's nuts and that they don't want to do just
getting up in the night is so long. Double
I didn't think about that.
double sheets. So
I didn't even think about that.
You got a double. Teaching him to paint, point and aim.
Oh yeah, boys.
And then you've just left the house. Oh, I need a toilet. Okay. So there's tools that I've had to buy. Like,
got it.
I'm sure I don't know if people have heard of a shiwi, but there's a portable loo you can take. You just like for boys, you just put it on there and they can just go. I rolled with a portable toilet for a hot minute.
Gotta do it, guys.
Yep.
The one thing I'm not looking forward to is the growth in my equipment. As you just said, you had to carry a portable toilet for a while. I'm like, what am I going to end up carrying? I just don't want to become a bag lady. I suspect it might have to happen, but I'm trying to avoid it.
Go out without your equipment, or you just get a cute bag and just get used to it. I mean, I can see in the way. I wore shirts. I wore button-up shirts for a minute.
Sorry, the only reason why I'm like this is because she's not with me. Because I now live in vests. I just put my bib out. Yeah, that's it.
Who am I now?
Yeah.
I'm a vest girl.
So that's it. Vest all the time. And now she's I'm still breastfeeding. I'm trying to think of when I'm gonna start weaning her off. Because
let it happen naturally.
Yeah, because I was gonna say right now it looks like she would be ready to fight me back. My kid doesn't play
And
with.
she will.
Yeah, literally, fully. So now that she's just getting more, I don't know, she's just having a deeper understanding of breasts and nipples and breast milk right now. She just rips the vest down when she's ready, and then she pops herself on and off. But she has this moment where she comes off my boob, and then she just looks at the nipple, and she just pulls it one way, pulls it another, then she squeezes it.
Yeah, I had
Then
that.
squeezes it. Then laughs, then goes back on it. I'm like, but what just happened? She just had a moment. It's great.
I pierced mine in.
Oh, yes.
In rebellion.
Oh, did you?
We are closed for business.
That's it. They're mine now. I think she'll find me, and the fact that I can get dragged by my nipples now is a new
It's
thing.
a new thing, isn't it?
It's disrespectful,
It's fully so disrespectful.
but it's like, okay,
So
I get it.
disrespectful.
It's yours for now. But yeah, that's my boobs and my nipples, and I love them, and they're great. And milk just squirts out. It's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Good times.
On that note, I'll just leave it there.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on here. I'm not gonna lie. There's actually like loads more that I want to ask.
You can ask me another one.
It's just the time. This is what happens when you're in a studio and you're not at home, where you can just talk until the cows come home. Like I wanna know, like, just look, I wanna know everything. Really, everything. What was breastfeeding like for you? Was it difficult? Was
loved
it
it.
not? Did you enjoy it?
It was painful.
I love it. Right. Yeah.
Very painful.
Was it? Nobody. I feel like no one can explain what breastfeeding is like to you until you're in it, doing it.
It's like an icy
Which is
pain.
weird.
It's an icy pain. That's what I had.
Did you? Mine was more like, I don't even know what mine was like, but it was definitely a challenge because it took a while for her to get it. I ended up having to use nipple shields.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were like, oh no, she's got a bit of a tongue tie. And I was like,
They always say
I
that.
don't think she had a tongue tie. After the
always say
fact, I
that.
was like, I don't think so. I think it was just her understanding this is how she feels
Yeah, I
now.
didn't get them done. Because
Yeah.
they were like, oh, yeah, you absolutely. And sometimes children really do need it.
Yeah.
But mine did. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're like 5 hours old. Like, can you
Yeah.
just relax?
And then after I was given the nipple shields, I'll just have it for a couple of weeks, come back, and then we'll reassess. No one gave me the follow up to come back and let's reassess.
They
So then
don't.
we were on the nipple shields for like 3 months, and I was like, and then I had the community housewives,
Yes.
community midwives, and the
The wenches.
I know,
The
right?
wenches
And where we go for sensory play and stuff. They're like, you know what? As long as the baby's being fed, that's fine. I was like, I get it, but no. So we ended up having to have like breasts and milks and nipples and stuff as like almost like a game. And then she just latched on one day and then it made sense. I was like, oh my God, this is what it is. So mine was a bit of a weird
You have to kind of.
situ,
You
but
have to kind of go.
I had to roll with that.
Yeah, you have to roll with it because sometimes some mums you feel so emotional you don't want to breastfeed, and I've heard that a lot.
True. Yep.
And then some people really want to breastfeed and it just dries up.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
chemical. It's all, and you just have to be okay with what your lot is.
It's true. And also for me, understanding, and maybe just for anyone else who would find this helpful, understanding that stress and breast milk
Yes.
are sadly best friends. So in this most stressful situation or this most stressful time, you have to be as calm as you possibly can because it affects
Listen,
how much you're going to make.
Meditation music during the
Mates.
day, lavender oil drops on your pillow. Set yourself up to win,
All
mummy.
the things. It was crazy. And I think the amount of anything that I found irritating or annoying or anything like that, I literally had to understand what it meant. I had to let it go because it's not worth it. It's not worth me being up at whatever hours of the night or morning trying to feed and I'm not getting as much or whatever. Just no. And with me, my little one lost, you know, when they're born, they lose, say,
They
10%,
lose weight,
right?
yeah.
She ended up losing 14%. So we were like, every few days, she had to get weighed or had to get monitored. And it's like, well, I don't know how much weight she's going to gain in like 2.5 days, but that's what I had to work with. So having to try and keep stress at bay was intense. So yeah, that was
Maybe
was a
I'll
lot.
create a handbook because there's a lot of this stuff that no one tells you, like
Nope.
from pregnancy to like the first year. There's a lot that isn't said, you know, even that. Because obviously first time mom, you hear that you see your baby's losing weight and they're this tiny little thing. You're like, what? Completely normal.
Yeah.
And it's all about whether are they actually still eating
That's the
or are
thing.
they not. So it's
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So mum circles are really important.
Yeah.
I'd encourage everyone to forge one
I
or
got
find
it.
one.
Okay. I will take that handy tip for sure. On that note, again, gonna wrap it up. Let's do it. Babe, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming and sharing and speaking and cursing a couple times. I appreciate that. Thank you for all of that. Where can people? I'm great. Where can people find you if they want to know more about you, whether it's your music, your mum, mummy, self,
so
your business, everything.
My page, I try to be better on my stories because I like to talk to people. So my music and artistry page is ITS black like the color, cactus like the succulent, it's Black Cactus. And then for my business, which is the Spoon Estate with the 1% Lovers, which is myself and my husband Mishak of 20 years, is the and then Spooner, SPOONER, state as in state of mind, the Spoon Estate. So there's 2 places you can find us. And performing around, and also coming to a YouTube channel near.
Whoop! Can't wait. Okay, we out.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
You're very welcome, babes. We out, we out, we out, we out, we out. Hey loves, before we sign off, just a quick note to remind you that everything shared on this episode is based on personal research and personal experiences, lived experiences. I hope we were able to give you some food for thought, but please make sure you conduct your own research and speak to your healthcare professional if you have any questions or concerns. Okay, with love, catch you on the next one.